On April 13, 2026, a Chinese company called Geely put a single number on a screen at a press conference: 48.41%. The room went quiet because everyone sitting there understood exactly what that number meant, and they knew it was supposed to be impossible, not expensive, not impractical. Impossible. The best thermal efficiency any mass-produced car engine had ever achieved in history was 41%. Toyota reached that number after roughly 20 years of effort and billions of dollars in research. When they got there, engineers across the industry treated it as a ceiling, not a milestone, but the actual limit of what physics allowed at any reasonable cost. The industry moved on, betting its future on electric vehicles instead. Geely just walked past that ceiling like it was not there. Certified, officially measured, recognized as a Guinness World Record. To understand why 48.41% changes everything, you need to understand what that number measures, and why the wall that held for a century turned out not to be made of physics at all. It was made of assumptions. The wall that held for 100 years. When a car engine burns fuel, it is fighting a battle it can never fully win. Fire generates heat, and heat does not care about your wheels. It wants to spread everywhere equally, into the metal walls of the engine block, out through the exhaust pipe, into the oil. The engine is constantly trying to capture that energy and redirect it into motion, and it loses most of that fight every single time the spark fires. A normal engine from Toyota, BMW, or Volkswagen converts about 30% of the fuel's energy into motion. The other 70% is gone, radiated as heat, lost to friction, expelled through the exhaust. That has been true since the first internal combustion engine ran in the 1880s. The number improved slowly over a century of refinement, but the improvement always slowed as it approached a ceiling that thermodynamics seemed to enforce. That ceiling exists because of what physicists call the Carnot limit. The efficiency of any heat engine is bounded by the temperature difference between where combustion happens and where the exhaust goes. A bigger gap means more potential work, but there are hard limits on both sides. Too hot, and you melt the engine. Too cold, and the emission systems fail. Engineers at every major automaker treated 40% as a practical wall, a zone where further improvement cost more than it returned. Toyota's path from 36 to 41% took roughly 20 years and required a fundamental rethinking of the combustion cycle. When they reached 41% with their 2.5-liter dynamic force engine, the industry quietly concluded the next meaningful jump was not coming. The reasoning was sound. It turned out to be completely wrong. That is the most expensive kind of wrong there is. The tornado that changed everything. Geely's breakthrough begins inside the cylinder with a problem every combustion engineer knows, but nobody had solved at this level. When air and fuel enter a cylinder, they do not mix evenly. Picture pouring cream into coffee without stirring. Thick swirls in some places, almost none in others. The same unevenness happens inside every traditional engine cylinder. When the spark fires into that uneven mixture, the flame does not ignite everything at once. It creeps outward from the spark plug like a slow wave. While it travels, heat from the combustion already underway bleeds into the surrounding metal walls. By the time the last pocket of mixture has burned, a significant chunk of energy has escaped into the engine block and done nothing useful. This heat loss is one of the primary reasons traditional engines struggle to cross 40%. Engineers found ways to reduce it. Nobody had eliminated it. Geely rebuilt the geometry of the intake channels so that incoming air is not drawn into the cylinder passively. It enters as a high-speed spinning vortex. Fuel mixes uniformly throughout the entire chamber. By the time the spark fires, the charge is perfectly blended from top to bottom. The result is not a slow wave, but a simultaneous explosion outward in all directions. Almost all of the energy hits the piston before it can bleed into the walls. But pushing combustion this completely creates engine knock, uncontrolled detonation before the spark plug fires, capable of cracking pistons within minutes. Knock is exactly what kept every other manufacturer pinned below 41%. And Geely's answer to it is the most counterintuitive piece of engineering in this story. If you are new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We cover breakthroughs like this the moment they happen, and there is a lot more coming. Hot and cold, at the same time. Every engineering textbook on internal combustion will tell you the same thing. Running an engine at extreme compression and high thermal load is a guaranteed path to catastrophic failure. You cannot run the mixture hotter and denser without crossing the detonation threshold. That trade-off is the wall. Geely built a system that operates on both sides simultaneously in different zones of the same engine. In a normal car, the cooling system circulates coolant at a roughly uniform temperature, a single-circuit compromise that treats the top and bottom of the engine as if they need the same thing. They do not. Geely split the system into two independent circuits. The cylinder head, where combustion occurs, is kept aggressively cold. Fast coolant flow pulls heat away the instant it appears, keeping the air charge dense right up to ignition and allowing the engine to run at compression ratios that would destroy a conventional engine within minutes. The engine block, where the pistons slide, is kept deliberately warm. Warm oil is thin oil. Thin oil means dramatically less friction. Less friction means more of every explosion's energy reaches the wheels instead of vanishing as heat between moving metal surfaces. Cold at the top for maximum compression without knock. Warm at the bottom for minimum friction. Those goals directly contradict each other in a single circuit system. An electronic pump reading conditions dozens of times per second makes them coexist. It sounds like it should not work. That is exactly why nobody else had built it. The gearbox they threw away. Even a 48% efficient engine loses ground if the power fights through a heavy transmission before reaching the wheels. A traditional 9-speed automatic weighs over 100 kilograms, contains hundreds of moving parts, clutch packs, shift forks, torque converters, and wastes a meaningful portion of engine output in friction and heat before a single wheel turns. Geely replaced it with what they call the 11-in-1 intelligent drive system. Not a transmission, an electromechanical power router. A single compact housing containing the engine, generator, 2 electric motors, inverters, and thermal management hardware. The assembly weighs 13.5% less than a traditional hybrid powertrain and has no torque converters, no shift forks, no hydraulic channels. For roughly 90% of daily driving, the combustion engine has zero physical connection to the wheels. It runs at peak efficiency, powering a generator. The motors drive the wheels. From inside the car, it feels identical to a pure electric vehicle. Silent, smooth, instant torque. The only moment the system connects engine to axle mechanically is at sustained highway speeds above 130 kilometers per hour, where direct drive is more efficient than the electrical conversion route. An AI managing the entire system recalculates optimal power routing 50 times every second, reading the navigation map and anticipating terrain kilometers ahead. The certified result, 2.22 liters per 100 kilometers. A Guinness World Record for a production vehicle. A full-size SUV with a range exceeding 2,000 kilometers on one tank, no charging network required, refuelable at any petrol station on the planet. The ceiling that an entire industry accepted as permanent has been broken by a company without a serious global automotive presence 15 years ago. Closing a gap like that does not happen with a development program. It requires rebuilding engineering pipelines, asking fundamentally different questions, and being willing to start from a blank page. That process takes years, and the companies that need to do it are simultaneously trying to make EVs profitable and keep existing product lines selling. The clock is running, and it started the moment that number appeared on screen in April 2026, and a room full of engineers went very quiet. Drop your answer in the comments. Do you think the legacy automakers can close this gap before it becomes permanent? Or has it already grown too large to cross? I read every single one. If this gave you something to think about, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss what we cover next.